Hello world, and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are looking at the full moon. This is happening on November 19th. This is the Beaver full moon, which is the Beaver Moon. It's the name given to the full moon in November. And this particular full moon is a full moon in Taurus. So I just wanted to get this card out to show you as an example of what that might mean for you. And then we're going to pull some cards about the full moon and being in Taurus for each sign. So your dreams need a practical plan. It's not enough to just like wish your dreams and have them just, instantly come true. I mean, I think we all would love to win the lottery, but even that we have to have a plan about, right? You can't win the lottery if you don't play. You need to put some steps forward to whatever goal that you are going towards. So the other interesting things about this full moon is it is a partial eclipse. So while, full moons are, a time of a lot of energy, it's very interesting energy, like the moon controls, our emotions. It controls like the ebb and flow of water as well. And so that's why it can control our emotions. Because this is a partial eclipse, like that energy can be more intense and then for longer periods of time. Usually we can use the full moon energy for a couple of days before and after to manifest or release. Usually releasing is best with the full moon energy, but whatever intention you are putting towards this. And this, with an eclipse though, it can that energy can last longer. So be very intentional with your intentions, like think things through, because this can last for a long time. The other interesting thing about this particular full moon is it's a full moon in Taurus and the sun is in Scorpio. Those are now opposing energies because when we have a full moon, the sun is opposite of the moon. But what's also interesting about that combination is this is the first of several eclipses that occur between Taurus and Scorpio. And this kind of kicks off the next 2 years where most of the eclipses will be in either Taurus or Scorpio. So we really need to think about that. And I would invite you to write down like your feelings or what's going on at this time. This is the first eclipse in Taurus that has happened since 2014. And then now we're going to have a series of them. And then we've got like Taurus and Scorpio opposed. So that is really interesting because Scorpio deals with our, is a very emotional sign. It's a water sign. It deals with our shadow self, our private world. And then we've got Taurus over here where Taurus is very practical. It's an earth sign. Grounding is really important. And we have heightened senses. So just to think about those few things as we go into your reading. And let's go ahead and do our reading now for each sign. Virgo, here is your full moon and Taurus reading. So very, very interesting. The full showed up in the Taurus reading too, but it was in reverse, and yours is upright. Actually, all of these cards came out in reverse to begin with for you. But as a rule, when I get a full spread that's in reverse, it means they should all be upright, but I feel like there's a blockage for you, or these things are not going to happen right away. And in the intro, I talked about like this being a partial eclipse. So this energy is going to continue on for, weeks after this. And I feel like this is something that is a little bit longer for you. I feel like a confidence thing, maybe building up confidence. It's really interesting. Keep getting drawn over here to Justice, the Lovers. Well, and the Fool is a major arcana card too, but especially these two because we've got balance, and then the Lovers are, two both of these deal with kind of like forces, duality, maybe balancing masculine and feminine, yin yang, those types of ideas. And what's interesting then to me is we've got the Seven of Pentacles, and the Fool over here is kind of like you have this, I mean, these two are kind of like opposites, if you will. So I feel like there's a lot of balancing. You've got a lot of things going on, like maybe like duality, and where a Gemini would love this, Virgo, I think that it's a little bit more difficult for you to balance out these cards. In fact, I said Gemini because the Lovers is related to Gemini. So communication is really important for you, and it might be communicating to the people around you your needs, because your needs may not be obvious. Somebody may know that you need one thing and they don't know that you need the other thing. You know, feels like there is a pairing of needs here for you, that you're bringing things together that aren't necessarily don't necessarily belong, and but they can exist, and that you're juggling it in a way, or you're bringing it together in a way that makes it special or beautiful. Now that can be through your work. Maybe you're bringing something, you're bringing technology to something where it doesn't exist before, maybe technology to farming, something like that. Maybe you're bringing art to science. It's something in the way that you see something very unique in the world that other people don't, and you're able to balance out those things, which is fantastic, Virgo. But I started on this too, where I said like the Seven of Pentacles and the Fool almost seem like different energies, and they are. The Seven of Pentacles is a card that talks about working really hard at something, and something very physical, something where you've planted the seeds and you're sitting here kind of patiently waiting, but your focus is on this thing that you're trying to create. When a watched pot never boils, right? So if you're focusing on it and you're like, why isn't this coming to fruition? Why isn't this coming? Why isn't this coming? Why isn't this coming? Like, you're trying to do everything in your power to force something that really might not be in your control. It might be under the control of the universe, under nature, something like that. And you're putting your best foot forward to push that out and make it happen. Where the Fool energy is just kind of like a whoop. It's a freedom. You don't feel so attached to something. And it's a movement to where this is kind of stagnant, like you're stuck in this point of time, you're stuck on this focus. And then the Fool energy is like a movement where you're going to where you want to be, and the details, they can work themselves out. Like you're trusting the universe here to work out the details, where over here you're super semi-focused on it. Now this could be two different aspects of your life, like maybe one of them is your work life and the other one is your romantic life. And I feel like the Justice and the Lovers come in here to kind of like say, hey, you know, maybe you need to balance these things out. Maybe a blending of those types of energies would work best. That yes, you can force things to a point, but there are times where you need to detach from it. You just need to trust the process, that it's going to happen and the universe will take care of it. And then over here is like, yeah, you can just trust that everything will work out to a point, but to the other point is, you know, you kind of do need to put your best foot forward. You need to make a little bit of a plan here. Full moon in Taurus is about putting practical plans here, but I feel like for you especially, it is a blending of that energy. Sometimes we weave a bit of magic, and sometimes we need to be practical. And sometimes we find a combination of the two. And Virgo, the combination of the two is what I feel like is for you. And I feel like it might take you a while to work that out, to work it out to where it feels good to you, where it feels balanced, where it feels like it is justice. You're doing your job justice, because sometimes it's really difficult to like kind of back up and realize that it's going to work itself out. And you don't feel like you're doing that job justice. You feel like you need to babysit it. You need to micromanage it. And I feel like the universe is telling you to pull back on that a little bit. And then with the Lovers, so a lot of times the Lovers cards, of course, you know, it's a pairing here. So if you, on the nose, if you are looking for a relationship, like I said, one of these feels like it's one area of your life and the other area is like, one of them could be your relationship area. I feel like that is possible for you. If you're feeling like it's not possible, I feel like it is absolutely possible for you. It's just maybe a blending of the energies like we talked about. But usually on the Lovers card, it's depicted Adam and Eve, and there is a tree. This one has a palm tree, but the other one has the apple, right? That knowledge. I feel like blending your energies helps elevate you to another level of understanding in both areas. And it's almost like a leveling up. That forbidden knowledge, I don't think it's forbidden knowledge for you, Virgo. I think it's something that you're discovering and you're like, oh, it's an epiphany. It's what Oprah would call that aha moment. And leveling up. And I feel like too that, you know, partnerships and working with other people is important too. A lot of times people are a mirror for us. I feel like relationships in general are a mirror for us. Right now the sun is in Scorpio, and that's opposition Taurus. I feel like it's important to talk about here because Scorpio deals with our shadow self. It deals with the unseen. It deals with what's going on inside. And when I was talking about somebody else being a mirror for us, that can help us bubble up and bring up things in our shadow self. Projection, if you've ever heard about that. Have you ever had like a knee-jerk reaction to somebody, like all of a sudden you just don't like them, you think that they are these really negative qualities, and everybody else is like, I don't know, I don't see it, you know, they seem just fine. And deep down you know that they're just fine, but you don't like them anyway. You might be experiencing your shadow self coming to the surface. You might be experiencing some projection. You might be putting some qualities on this person because they remind you of yourself. They remind you of something negative on yourself. Whenever something like that occurs, you know, and justice is coming in here as well, like it's not really deserved. And it might be a time for you to pause and meditate and write down your feelings. I am all about you feeling your feelings. I'm all about you engaging in that, and you absolutely should. And if somebody makes you feel a certain way, of course, if they make you feel bad about yourself, you shouldn't have to be around them. But you probably should ask the question of why they make you feel bad about yourself. You should investigate that, because you're going to probably be surprised by the answers. Another way to kind of discover your shadow self here, social media. You start reading through posts, and if all of a sudden you get like this negative feeling and you're very angry, that can help uncover, like, why am I really angry? Why am I really angry? Is it really something I should be angry about? Is it because somebody else told me that I should be angry? Is it deep down inside I don't love my disorganized self? So these are questions to ask yourself during this full moon. I feel like, though, overall, Virgo, like, the most difficult part is balancing out these energies, and really kind of like loving yourself. I feel like there is an evolution here for you, Virgo. I feel like there's a new level of understanding, a new level of consciousness in yourself and understanding yourself. I feel like this moon is a lot about that. And yeah, there's great things. It just might be kind of difficult to sit down and think about those things during, in the moment. But journaling would be a great way. Sit down and when you encounter something really negative and you're like, wait a second, why is that triggering me? What is this really the way that it is? Or did somebody else is there some programming behind this? Did somebody else tell me that I need to feel this way? So that's what I have for you, Virgo. Again, I really see a lot of beautiful things. You're supposed to be moving. You're supposed to be achieving. You've got those things coming up. I just feel like, again, because these came out reversed, I feel like it might be like a sticking point for you, which is it's exactly what we're trying to uncover here with this full moon. This is how you're supposed to use it. You're supposed to move past this. You're supposed to blend things. You're supposed to balance some things out, and you're supposed to use these things that you figure out to evolve yourself. So love you, Virgo. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next reading.